Welcome, Atlanta United family, to our weekly episode of Resurge The Spike ATL here with our co-host James. But as usual, you can follow us on Twitter. James, you can follow him at ATLUTD James. You can follow myself at Resurge Spike ATL. And overall, the page, for more info, you can follow us on Fila Sports Podcast. But um, yeah, before we get started, we want to send special shout outs, to our boy Hanny Mukhtar, who apparently the king of the South now, just because he got a couple stats against the actual kings of the South.
Damn.
Uh, Ridiculous, man. I mean, I get it, 3-1 win is the first time they've scored like what, 3 goals in probably like close to a year. I think it was last September, or I know
Yeah.
it was close to the end of the season, but it's Nashville, bro. Fuck.
Yeah. It's always a rough one. And I mean, they finished the chances, they put it away. It's unfortunate. That's what happened. It wasn't the total breakdown performance, where we didn't do anything. I feel like we accomplished a lot attacking wise, not the finishing product, of course, but I feel like what we saw going forward, I felt like we played pretty good in the attack. And defense is just in shambles. Um, it's obviously in shambles, and you have to continue throwing those guys out there because you have nothing else, no one else to do anything. But Nashville, I mean Atlanta, I think they dominated possession. I don't have it pulled up, but it was a pretty open game, very very interesting to say the least. I felt like Atlanta dominated the chance category. They just didn't put them away, obviously, and it was rough. You had a different look up top. But this team, man, it's a struggle, and they got caught out 3 times in Nashville. Pretty preventable goals, and you didn't get the points, so move on.
And right off the bat, it seems like there was somewhat of a approach from Pineda. Like obviously he rested Sadich. He had played
Yeah.
basically the entire game against Memphis 901 in the middle of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And now it came down to Sosa and Rossetto being that pairing in the middle. And I don't know, it doesn't seem like that's the answer, honestly. Obviously, you still had Ibarra, with some issues. And uh, I don't know, man. I think that at times, yeah, Pineda gets all the, or somewhat all the blame,
Mm-hmm.
and the players do, have responsibility in that. But I don't know, man. I think it's more of a Atlanta United as a whole has come down to the decision making that has happened in the front office, to the guys that
Yeah.
they've brought in. It's come down obviously to Pineda being appointed as a coach, and essentially it comes down to the players. Yeah, I get it. You may not be the flashiest player. I mean, may not be great, but you still gotta at least show up, right? Or do something. And I feel like a lot of players, man, like Barry, I don't know, man. I don't even know what he does, honestly. What good he does in the team. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. Like I don't get it.
Yeah. You're mentioning Rossetto, right?
Yeah,
Or
Rossetto. Yeah, he's another one. I mean, Sosa.
oh, so
He's not the problem. Sosa's not the problem, but
no.
Matt Doyle did point out something like the fact that Sosa's like literally like picking up his head, looking for the movement of the player around him. And Rossetto literally just runs like like the whole opposite direction. Like there's literally no communication in the aspect of like, all right, Atlanta United has a midfield that understands each other or anything.
You're at your breaking point already, man. You know, I think Sosa played all right. but it's
No, I
just
mean, don't get me wrong.
it's the
Like
amount of
like
space.
problem or anything.
Yeah,
It's like the pairing. I mean, Sosa's good in certain aspects of the game, and
sure.
Rossetto is not good at any aspect of the game, honestly. Other than
Not at
passing
any.
back and passing sideways. I mean, if you
Wow.
look at it and be realistic.
Yeah, it's just they leave a whole lot of space. And it's kind of tough because you're kind of relying on a two-person midfield in defense. It's difficult, and sometimes your fullbacks can't drop back. Which, if I remember correctly, I can barely remember now. The two of their goals came from like kind of breakaways. I think they did,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. That last
it's
one did for sure. It was
yeah.
like,
It's when you get caught out like that, and your fullbacks aren't back, and Almada's not going to defend much for you. He hasn't done that. He's good at pressing, but in terms of set defending, it's just space. And then once you get the ball back, when Almada doesn't come all the way back to try and sort that out, there's just so much space. It's really some moments where they focused on playing through the middle. I mean, this team just has to play it through out wide at this point, especially where you stack the numbers. And it didn't help that you have Chol and that striker, which is something I probably said on the podcast last week is not a good idea. Um, it just doesn't work because you put a striker like Chol, he's a player that plays at pace. He's a player with dribbling, and that's not what the striker is supposed to do in this team in the way you set it up. It's rough, man. And they're gonna go invisible when you throw them out there because the striker is supposed to be getting the ball on his head, getting the ball in the box, being tough, being physical. It's just doesn't work. It
and
and
you
I
even
mean,
see that with Amato, right? Like the fact that he has to drop back so much to
sure.
to the middle.
Yeah,
And
I think that's beneficial though. I mean, when Sosa drops in as basically a third center back sometimes in the build-up, I mean, it makes sense to try and get him to facilitate more because this team doesn't get anything through the middle anyway.
no,
It's
but I'm talking
difficult.
about the fact that Amada has to drop back.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
I
It's
don't know, man. Like, I mean, then you're left with, people like, Araujo or even Chol or,
yeah.
in that final pass. And technically that should be Armada, feeding those passes.
Yeah, it's tough because I feel like when you're in that position where Almada has to drop back, your fullbacks aren't really helping you out to move it forward. I feel like that's problematic. And we get stuck. Atlanta gets stuck sometimes in doing that. It's a very slow process. Still trying to figure it out, but I felt like the attack was good. I mean, they didn't get the goal from open play, but I mean, I felt like they did perfectly fine. They just didn't have the finishing touch, of course. But that's what Nashville gave you. They gave you the opportunity to play your fullbacks through and get a chance at a cross. They all of Nashville's players sat in the box, meaning the only people that were open were your midfielders, outside the box on the D, and that didn't do much to you. That ended up in like 5 shots that happened outside the box. It was pretty more than like 10 shots from outside the box because that's what they gave you, and we didn't score any. It's unfortunate.
Uh, Essentially, this is not obviously a result that Atlanta United wants to pick up at home or away.
No.
Nashville is obviously one of the toughest teams
Hmm.
away from home. Uh, you
Yeah.
do have to give them that. They're not a team that usually does, though. Like we mentioned earlier, goes and puts 3 goals on the team. So the big question obviously is, that has been floating around. Obviously, I've seen it, on Twitter and Facebook groups. Is does Pineda finish the season as coach of Atlanta United?
I already see where your stance is, but I mean, we're hearing so much now from whether it's the inside, whether it's anywhere. It's difficult. I just don't feel like you can judge it right now.
Yeah, no,
It's tough.
I have my opinion, yeah, and I've pretty much shared it out like the past 2 weeks. Like, yeah, I think that he's gonna be gone before the season ends,
You've been
like in
doing
my
this.
opinion.
You've been doing this
But
since
this is
last
the
year.
thing, though. This is the thing with Pineda. I mean, last year I guess you could, if you're, being like, just partial in both ways of him and the players. He didn't have a lot of the core players, honestly,
Yeah.
because of injury. This season, still, like, I mean, yeah, you had Garth coming in the off season, but yet again, it's not like he was just gonna turn things, inside out, just right off the bat. He somewhat did. There was a lot of people that left this offseason, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think this offseason, the end of this season, will be the actual turning point, like the pivotal point for Atlanta United going forward when it comes to, like, getting rid of contracts like Rossetto, hopefully. Araujo, hopefully.
It's the same dialogue every week, isn't it?
It is, man, but the fact that, well, Rossetto, it was ridiculous. The fact that they actually, went ahead and
They saw something, man. I don't know what they saw, but they saw something.
Mm, I don't
In
know,
in
man.
the comments, they said Sosa man of the match. I mean, that's a shout. But I mean, I guess like mine in terms of the game was probably Almada, but I think Sosa is definitely like top 3 players in that game. But he's just slow. That kind of he was slow on a couple of those breaks, couldn't get back. But I mean, that's all about positioning. I don't know. It was close. He was very good. He was getting tackles and dispossessing the ball, winning headers. I feel like he was pretty good. But it's all about your counterpart, and it's been streaky with how the center mids has started. I don't know how the switch to Rossetto happened or when from Sadic. I think that was probably after New York. Maybe it was after the Open Cup, but man, it's been rough, and I can't really see it. It's just he really slows the game down. But this game, interestingly enough, he had like 3 shots, I think, which is kind of better, but they were terrible shots.
Kind of wild shots, yeah.
The shots he probably shouldn't be taking. But
Yeah.
I mean,
From like 20 yards out.
it's because that's why they're so smart. They put everyone in the box, and man, you're gonna fire those away. And it worked, man. I don't know how this. I'm looking at it right now. You can continue going, but I don't know how we went from Sadic to Bracetto. Did Sadic get hurt or something after Toronto? Because after Toronto, we just started going with Sadic. I mean Rossetto. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. I don't like it. But I think it would make sense to throw Sadic back in, but who knows? If that doesn't happen, it's fine. It's not going to change the game that much, to be
Mhm.
honest. It might, but I don't know.
What's up, Edgar? Greetings from the
Yeah,
burning dumpster
the
fire that is
Galaxy.
Elias.
Who did they lose to? They lost 2-0. It wasn't a very good opponent either. Man, it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Like, look, everyone cries about Araujo, but Douglas Costa, man, oh my,
Yeah.
they lost to Orlando. That's tough.
And
Oof.
I mean, you could probably throw Chicharito in that mix. I mean, he hasn't been scoring goals
Yeah,
like
this
that,
year.
like last year.
Yeah, he was good last year. This year, man, it's rough.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Riddle has a comment here. We're a
additional.
really we're really bad with player condition, and players are either overplayed and getting injured, or they go out of form after missing a match and need
It's
a
fair.
game or two before they are good again.
I,
Um,
I think I think the Open Cup killed you in terms of that playing 120. I mean, Ibarra went 120, and now he has a concussion. Sadic ended up going a lot more minutes than he was supposed to. Um, yeah, but that happened. That game definitely screwed that. And I feel like I don't know if you're referring to Yakimakis, but he got killed in the Chicago game. That was just unfortunate. Like he got beat up,
nah,
and
I
they
feel
weren't
like he does
expecting
every
that.
game. Honestly, I feel like they're more
Yeah,
physical with him for like a specific reason.
I feel like
Honestly,
he's more physical. I feel like that's just what he does. I mean, but he got totally rammed by the goalkeeper, the defenders, like 10 times.
yeah.
I mean, it's it's rough, and I feel like that's just soccer. Like people just get hurt, and you know it's rough running around for 90 minutes, right? But if you're Rossetto, you don't get hurt because you don't get even close to being on the ball with another player near it. So
The
it's rough.
sideways passes are never gonna kill you, bro.
No, like it was one of his. No, never mind. But like attacking wise, it was one of his better performances. But I mean, defensively, it's rough. It's so rough.
Yeah. So, what's your stance on the whole Pineda situation? Just to finish that off real quick.
Um, I have no sources for this at all, but I heard about planning on moving on with Pineda after this year. I feel like it's with the dialogue with Lagerway, it's like his chance to get his own hire for once, which according to someone, I don't even remember this, but he didn't like get hires in Seattle. That wasn't him because they had Brian forever, I think. I don't know. I don't know my history well. But I mean, I don't know. This team's still a good team. They're not horrific. They played against a good team last week. It happens. There's still a long way to go. It's tough to judge. But I mean, if you're sitting where you don't want to be and the board, Garth, they feel like it's time to do that, I mean, potentially. I don't This team isn't trash by any means. It's not. It's not trash.
No, it's not, but it's
I don't
literally
think
being carried by the one person in each position, which up
I don't
top, Yakamakis, in the
sure.
middle, Thiago Almada, and in the back, Miles Robinson. I mean,
But I mean, we shot ourselves in the foot with that starting lineup against Memphis, trying to conserve guys.
yeah. So
And the Chicago performance is bad, but at the end of the day, you got 3 points, you move on. And Nashville is a team you just can't beat ever. You always 2-2 them. This time, a couple goals drop. I think this team's okay. I don't think there's really anything to worry about. I feel like they can go on a run, but I also feel like they can continue how they're playing now. It's difficult. You have to make adjustments, and I think it's too early to judge Gonzo. I feel like it's silly. I don't know. I don't know anything. So
Edgar has a question here in regards to the team. How do you pick up the pieces and move on after the loss in Nashville?
it's
And this
mentality.
this
Mentality.
this is this actually goes on to the next topic we're about to hit,
Let's do
regarding
it.
the injury updates, because you still have two key missing players. Well, technically three if you count Brad Guzan still being out,
Sure.
which he will be until like what, June, July or something like that.
Yeah. Somewhere.
So you have Yakamakas, which is he's still going to be out, and Franco Ibarra, who picked up a concussion. So
Yeah.
obviously those are two key players. Now the question, yeah,
Hmm.
the question that Edgar brought up, how the pieces that you pick up, you haven't picked up any pieces. You actually, still missing the same ones.
You got to
But
take you got to take the positives, from Nashville. I like the way they move forward. I like the way they created
there
chances.
was, yeah, like you mentioned it. I mean, there wasn't like, it wasn't like a game like against Memphis. Like that
Yeah.
was, I think, one of the Memphis and Columbus. Those are like the lowest points by far this season for Atlanta
Sure.
United.
Hmm.
And when you go back and look at the games, it's like they were helpless. It literally looked like there was
Hmm.
like a big level, or like a big difference of level, between the team that they were playing and Atlanta United. And
Hmm.
that's the thing that you want to see. You want to see, obviously, them still getting forward, and you honestly just want to see the guys that we mentioned before. And well, honestly, I haven't mentioned Etienne, but Etienne is a guy that I think that he has not shown what we expected out of him, honestly,
Sure.
or that at least I expected out of him.
Yeah. It's hard to
But
get out of these players though. It's rough. I mean,
and
the way
this
you
this this is
play,
one of the things where it does come down to, like, in my opinion, like coaching, like
Yeah.
You have players like Araujo who have
Hmm.
honestly dropped their level under Pineda, and then you
I
have
yeah,
you
yeah,
know even guys like Barry who are just completely useless. But yet again, they
sure.
were in another, like he was in Columbus, and I mean he was pretty decent,
That
substitute.
game, gosh, that was horrible from that was poor managing to put out that 11 and to expect a result. They tried to play that game too fast and they got killed and they kept getting killed. It's rough because they didn't adjust. They tried to play the same way and that they did with all those guys the week before and they just got absolutely killed. It- that's on them. They didn't adjust. And I feel like this week in terms of attack, they adjusted well. They tried a different thing with Chol, which didn't work. That's gonna happen. They tried a different thing, but I mean, it lets you down. And I feel like this week, you take what you can get. You try and find a way to sort out what's going on in the midfield. I feel like they have to slow the game down. It's the giveaways, it's the counters that they concede that provide the space. I feel like they have to slow the game down. Even in attack, they have to slow the game down. That's what Rossetto did. The one thing he did well was slow the game down, which kind of helped out a little bit sometimes because when the game moved really fast around like the 15th to 20th minute in Nashville, we were getting absolutely killed. We needed to take a breather. And, you know, sometimes you got to slow the game down. And I feel like the way we play through our fullbacks, it's just the crossing has to be better. And I think you can stick Miguel Berry up top. And if you feed him the ball, I mean, he's got to get his head on one of them, right? If you give him a good pass, I think you post him up top. You try to make him play hold up a little bit. You do something. You figure it out. And if you get killed, you obviously didn't make the adjustment. It's time to adjust, and everyone needs to put their head down and be ready to go. I think Nashville's out of these guys' head already. They want another opponent. It sucks that the game's away. I feel like these guys needed a home game to get boosted, but they they gotta put their head down. They gotta. It's a fresh game, clean 90.
Yeah. You have a pretty interesting game coming up this weekend.
Yeah,
Atlanta United visit Inter
into
Miami,
yeah.
Battle of the Goats.
Mm-hmm. And look, if Pineda's outcoached anyone in his tenure with Atlanta, it's been Neville, If anybody, that's not the name you want to see him, dominate. That's one you should expect to. But my goodness, we played well against Miami. Maybe not the first game last year, but the second game, that was good stuff. Araujo goal and an assist, by the way, in that game last year. We must not forget. But this is a game. If we talk about our injuries, their injuries are probably even more devastating. You you go to Miami, you struggle there. If you play the game slow and you continue doing what you're doing, and the crosses have something on them, you got a chance. And with Miami, you just got to contain Campana, whatever his name is.
Yeah,
Make
Campana.
sure your center backs are tight, and you know, you just need a complete performance out of everybody. And just don't get caught on the break. Don't make interceptions, and be ready to run your ass back when they start running at you. But I feel like this is a very favorable game for us. It doesn't matter what 11 you throw out there. You can execute. I mean, this is a team that's been absolutely horrific, and Neville is terrible. Martinez is struggling. He's not even going to start.
Damn
Um,
it! You brought him up. I was like
yeah,
waiting for because I had to mention him, so I was
eh,
like, I was just waiting for the moment for that to drop.
yeah. I don't even care. Like that's fine. I
He
obviously don't
doesn't,
care since I
dude.
covered his
Honestly,
jersey.
he,
I
he
obviously don't
doesn't even
care.
start, man.
I mean, he
Like I don't
could.
think
Who
they
knows?
will be stupid enough to like throw away what they've done so far.
And what's his name? They got that 18-year-old like the Cam that's played for them. That's been actually pretty good. He's got a long name. I don't even know. Um, just don't let Yedlin cook you like he did last year
Jesus
in
Christ.
Miami. That was terrible. Um, and take your chances. Take what they give you. This is a favorable matchup. I'll say it again. They put up a pretty good performance against Columbus, but it's rough. It's your time.
Yeah, Edgar's bringing up a point. Yeah, I've seen that as well. I actually follow a couple Inter Miami fans. That Phil Neville's been on the or is in the hot seat, and yeah, I think that's another name that probably by the time summertime comes around, he'll probably be gone.
Phew,
So
maybe we'll see. But
yeah. In regards to that though, just real quick because it's always been thrown in the mix like, oh, if there's been two names that have been linked together, it's been Messi with Inter Miami, and as we learned earlier this week, reports came out that Leo Messi had been suspended by PSG because he went on a unauthorized trip to Saudi Arabia, which technically wasn't even like personal stuff or anything like that. It was just like a sponsored business trip or whatever. And
yeah,
well, he ended up getting suspended for 2 weeks, and then after that there was reports that also came out that he was not going to be renewing with PSG. So there was obviously reports from uh, I don't remember who. I think it was Gaston Adul, which is a reporter from down in Argentina,
yeah.
that he said that there was two teams obviously that had thrown out offers, which one was Inter Miami and another one being Al. I'm not even going.
Hilal, Al
Yeah,
Hilal.
I don't know, bro. I
Yeah,
don't know honestly, but yeah, the other like technically like the rival from the Cristiano Ronaldo team. So it's stupid, man. I guess Saudi Arabia just trying to have like everybody watching their league or whatever. Whatever. I mean,
I don't think because I don't know how it works in Saudi if that investment makes sense with how much money you're giving them. But I mean, I'm not gonna watch that league. I don't think
yeah.
many
I mean,
fans.
honestly, I don't watch it for. I wouldn't watch it.
You're a big Messi guy too. Like, why?
Yeah, honestly, it just wouldn't be worth it, and like, and this is the thing to me, honestly. Bruno, like he brought up a good. I think he said this comment honestly before we
Oof.
started talking about this, but when it comes to like a league that's outside of like Europe, and that's the big or not concern for me, but I think like when a player steps out of Europe, like I feel
Hmm.
like you're sort of taking like pressure away, when it comes to like the daily, aspect of it,
Sure.
um, or like like the every match aspect of you have that high intensity, uh, and when you go down to a league that's probably not as popular, or doesn't have as much competitism, and it's just not up there in the top five, then you start to drop down to that level. And Messi, I think that he's obviously the most talented player, obviously, that's you know step foot on earth at this point, but I still
Okay.
think that he doesn't need to go to
Hmm.
like a team outside of Europe, given the fact that he's still playing relatively at a good level. And it just doesn't make sense, honestly, other than him wanting to go for the money, which at this point, I mean,
Fair
if he
enough.
did it, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, or I wouldn't judge him. I mean,
Yeah.
Ronaldo did it. A lot of
Hmm.
people judge him, especially a lot of Messi lovers. I did, and I was like, dude, honestly, he's getting the bag. Dude's like earning like
I
half
mean,
of what
yeah.
he earned in his entire career. So I'm like, dude,
Hmm.
do what you got to do, man. I mean, listen, and if it comes down to like Messi doing that, and the thing is, I think that, like I mentioned, he's still playing well. Copa America, next year, hopefully, here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Uh, so a lot that can happen. And obviously, we haven't mentioned the fact that Thiago Almada's agent, was at the
Yeah.
training ground, as well today, I believe, right?
Mhm.
So that's, kind of gives you hints that, there's some negotiations going on there. There still hasn't been any more rumors, regarding Almada leaving or anything, or,
Mhm.
obviously, I'm pretty sure a lot of a lot of you keep up with soccer. So Napoli secured Serie A today, huge, huge accomplishment 33
Boo.
years later. I mean, that's
Boo.
why I actually wore the Maradona jersey today, because I was
Oh,
like,
respect.
hey,
Respect.
yeah.
What about Milan, bro? We're Milan fans, right?
Yeah,
That's
nah.
us.
Next week, matter of fact, that I was waiting to
Oh.
actually wear my mine for next week.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, that semifinal.
When's that? Is that on Tuesday?
I don't know. I forgot, man. What game is on which day?
Me
But
neither. I don't.
well, actually, now that we head about next week, speaking of that, we should be having Top Ben 90. We were supposed to
Oh,
have him on like 2 months
yeah.
ago, but my child
We got him
decided to be
now.
born, so we didn't have a podcast that week.
Boo.
Yeah, so we'll have him on next week. He's
Oh,
supposed
heck
to give
yeah.
me, get back with me on what day we'll be able to record. So,
A-
obviously
Any
the
day
link will
but
drop.
Wednesday.
And
Any day but Wednesday.
yeah. All right.
That's
Yeah,
the
I mean,
one.
I'm pretty sure he'll probably either be Monday, or I think Tuesday's the day that he does. So either Monday or
Monday.
Thursday, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah.
Um, we can knock it out whenever.
Yeah.
He's good. I see him all the time in my timeline for no reason. I think Twitter knows I hate Charlotte, so they just put all his tweets up there. But it's good stuff,
Yeah.
especially
Speaking
when
of
they
Charlotte,
lose.
I told you guys I had a story. Please, like, oh, you're not gonna want to miss this. Listen,
Let's talk about Joseph Martinez. Let's do that. That's what the buzz is
yeah,
right now.
just real quick.
Oh,
You think that Napoli? Damn.
uh,
Yeah, I'm gonna hit on that comment a little bit
that's
later.
that's
Yeah, but
uh
you said
Joseph.
about Joseph Martinez.
Yes,
What about him?
he could. I think Neville was so crazy at this point that he could start him. I got that little feeling. And I mean, if he does score, are you offended if he does his stare down celebration? Because is that even celebrating? I would like a good stare down. That'll put Pineda in his place. Maybe go to
Yeah, I
Pineda,
actually
slide
do
tackle him.
think that, if something like that were to happen and he scored, the person that he would probably look at either, well, depends on whether Boca's, around, which probably
He'll
not,
find him.
but
He'll find him.
yeah.
He'll look in the
But
direction of
but the
Atlanta
main
where
person, yeah, would probably be Pineda. Like, yeah, I could just see that happening, honestly.
oh man. I mean, if anyone loves slide tackling people, it's Parada. Maybe Parada can get stuck in and freaking slide tackle him.
Yeah, he
I
would be
still
the one
love
to
him.
cause that PK.
I still love him, but and it would just be funny if you just 2-foot him. But not injury, but like okay, I'm backpedaling. But I hope Joseph starts because one, he's not good, and two, it would be funny. So and I think he definitely can. I think he definitely can score on us for sure because their defense is very sus. But that would be good times. If Joseph scores, I would just laugh because then it would be one of those games where we just get absolutely killed, and you would just be so sad about being destroyed. And then Joseph scores, and you're like, great.
They should just put a table of chicken and rice right by the, like on the sideline. I think that will hype them up enough.
Yeah, for real. But dude, I think Phil Neville's in his psycho mode. He's gonna start him or something, even though Campana is like 10
Literally
times
just
the better player. I mean, real. And I still love Joseph, but last year kind of killed it a little bit. He's still in the Wall of Fame, Not this week though. He'll be back on it next week, depending on if he scores or not. But I might
Yeah,
put my
same.
Kubo jersey up
Like, trust
there.
me, I still got massive respect for Joseph. I don't know if you got, well, technically that jersey's signed by Joseph too. Joseph, Pity,
Yeah.
Barco,
I
LVP, Brad Guzan.
this is
But
I
the
got my
other one, well, hold up. And then I still got that signed poster by him over there too, which
yeah.
technically, yeah, that's the 100 goals that he scored against, actually against Inter Miami. How crazy is that, right? Who would have thought that he would have went
That
to Inter
game.
Miami when he scored that goal?
Yeah, that pen, bro.
Yeah.
That game sucked. I was so pissed. But we ended up winning, I think. Yeah, we won that game, but that was frustrating. But I suffered my signed ball back here. I covered it in the scarf. So it's anti Joseph this week. But,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So yeah, I think, Inter Miami, it's a favorable, opponent in terms of them not performing well, coaching issues as well, injuries. So what predictions when it comes down to
Oh boy.
this,
What can we
what do you think
predict?
that is your
I'm not predicting. I said 4-1 Atlanta last week, bro. I'm done.
God damn.
I'm done. Um, how about you go ahead? I need to think of more. I need to
Man,
overthink this. You
I'm
have
gonna say
been
2-1 2-1 Atlanta, man.
wow, you've been negative all week and you come out with that.
I have been, but you know, hopefully, man, at least me being positive, that
Yeah,
we're actually gonna come out and have a good game.
sure.
Jinx, man,
I
just trying
like
to.
it. No, Jinx is not real. Never, never. We don't never. Even though I think last week I totally jinxed something, but I don't. It's nothing. I don't. I don't think Joseph's gonna be thinking about my score prediction when he scores a 50-yard banger. I hope not. All right, you guys, a lot of 2-1s. I like 1-1. Um, I mean, Bruno's been the biggest Arujo propagandist in this past couple of days. I like it. I've kind of fallen off a little bit. I kind of starting to shut up. Um, I'll go 3-1 Atlanta. I don't like it because I don't want to copy yours, and I don't want to say 1-1. I'm done, man. 3-1. Yay. Um, I don't think any of our backup keepers have kept a clean sheet yet. You know what? 2-0. 2-0 Atlanta. Diop clean sheet on the cards.
Well,
Uh,
fairness to Diop, right? I mean, he's been solid so far in the 2 games that he's been.
Joseph hat-trick. I love it. That would be funny.
Oh Jesus.
If we're gonna lose, at least have Joseph score a hat-trick. I'm cool with that. 3-1. Three.
Uh,
Let's get some goals though from open play. No headers, no corners, no penalties.
yeah.
Off the boot like it should be.
Uh,
Ooh, speaking of Peru, Abram,
Dude, yeah, I think that's a name that we haven't mentioned,
we
and
don't have
now
to. I think we talked about it enough. No, we didn't really last week.
no, we haven't really mentioned him. I think
Oh
we
no.
we did sort of hit on him last week, but Luis
Oh
Abram,
man.
he's a guy that I mean, he came in obviously with biggest expectations as well from the
Eh,
fans, given the fact that
I mean, it was
he's
Zilf. It
a
was it was Zilf's fault because he played at Veles or
nah,
Veles.
man. But look, this is the thing for me. Look, if you're representing your country, on a national level, that means you're, literally, let's say the 20, there's 23 players, getting called up. So you're one out of the 23 best players in your country. I
Okay.
mean, like,
I
and
I think maybe more time is a valid argument. I agree with that, but I mean, come on, show some passion. You got a 2-foot Schaffelberg when he's through on goal, man. I don't care. Take the red card. I need to see your passion. I want to see you play for the badge. you know, I
yeah,
I feel like on that one he should have just clipped his leg and just stood over him. But yeah, I feel like more minutes would be helpful because I mean he sat on the bench for like 4 straight games. Just a little more time. I just I feel like Parada is going to be your 34 game player, and I don't like to say that, but I feel like he's going to be your guy this year, which is also unfortunate because he's been terrible the last couple weeks. But it's fine. All right, let's go back to Edgar's comment. If Miami wins, what went wrong? What do you think?
If
Go ahead.
Miami, well, it depends, man. I mean, because if you
Just
go
give me
out and
something.
look, Pineda out. That's all I gotta say, bro. Pineda out.
So, um,
Nah,
you
I'm
know
just
what?
kidding, man. But
Yeah,
look.
yeah,
Nah, I think it's essentially, man. It comes down to who they put out on the field. I mean, it's not like it's all Pineda's fault. It's not all the players' fault. It comes down to both, man. It really does.
it
I
does.
mean, it's not like it's a matter of Pineda getting the best out of the players that he puts out on the field. Like that decision itself is on him, who he thinks that is best, and
Hmm.
that gives you 1 point. And then once the players go out there and go out there and they don't perform, obviously, also point at the players because they're not
Yeah,
performing. So I mean, that's what I got to narrow it down to. I mean,
yeah.
it just really comes down to both.
More of a
There's just so much you got to work with at this point, honestly, man. I mean, you're
yeah,
essentially gonna end up losing, Thiago Almada this summer, and that's gonna be like the big question mark, in the summer. Are you gonna
hmm
replace him then? Are you gonna wait till the off season? I mean,
yep.
if you ask me, like, I mean, and there was a tweet that went out a little bit earlier. I forgot from who exactly, but they were like, you would rather get rid of Almada and rebuild basically
Oh yeah,
this off year and have a good DP come in instead of like having that quick
sure.
decision like they've somewhat done the last couple of times.
um, I I don't know. I feel like everyone is still, including me, very reactionary on last week. I feel like we got to slow it down. But I think if we lose to Miami, I feel like they're just going to catch us out in the break. They're going to find space and they're going to get a nice little goal. I feel like that's the issue. But what about Josh? The Jim Curtin? This is what I was talking about today.
Hmm.
He apparently said something today about we could be looking to move on from Pineda after this season. And Jim Curtin was a name. He's been kind of getting stick from Philadelphia fans, and he's I've heard, I guess he's been looking to potentially move on. I hate Jim Curtin so much, but if he was on our team, I think I would absolutely love him because he's that guy, like, you hate him when he's against you, beating you because he's wearing that varsity jacket, with the Jordans on the touchline. But I feel like I would like him here. He's not, your fun tactical manager who's gonna like break you down, who's gonna be running on the break, scoring flashy goals, but the guy wins game. Yeah, I remember that. He called us plastic. Hey,
What
I
is
would
he
love
gonna
him
be saying?
here.
Look, I could just
I
imagine
would
him
love
like meeting
the
the fans.
360, the 360 real quick. He'll start backpedaling. He's like, well, that was just one thing, I didn't really know. Yeah, easy. But it would be really
So
weird.
just
It,
real quick for the ones that don't know the Bruno's comment, he talked crap about Atlanta. I don't think so. Is the comment that he said that a lot of the fans that come to Atlanta United games are from outside of the state. Like if you would, if you
hey,
ask
that's
me to
you.
show
He's
you
looking
your
at
ID.
you. That's you.
I
You're a
could
fake
just
fan.
imagine, bro. Somebody like meets him and like, I would be the one. I would show him my ID from South Carolina, bro. I'd be like, I definitely come out bro, all the way out just to, just to see these motherfuckers play. Bro.
Yeah. You would come all the way from there just to go to a big plastic party, right? Um, but yeah, that's Jim Curran. But I would like him here. I don't know. He wins games, and I feel like that's what you need in this league. I feel like this isn't to the point where you need your big time manager,
You
because
think?
He
that
can win you
given the
games.
fact that there's already been certain or like a certain connection made obviously with Garth Lagerway coming in.
Hmm.
What about a guy like Brian Smeltzer?
Yeah, I don't know about Seattle, but I would assume he's happy there. It would that would be a good one. Like
But I
I
mean,
don't,
just look at it. I
it's a
mean,
tough situation, you know.
look, just I mean, putting out a scenario. Seattle are in a good, in a good run right now so
Sure,
far. I believe top of the West.
maybe.
Just won CONCACAF Champions League last year. Biggest accomplishment in MLS history, obviously. In terms of international ones, but obviously has won MLS Cup, supporter shields, everything there is to name. I mean, like you say, he may be happy there, but I mean, I feel like, essentially there comes a time where, you just want to challenge, there's somewhere else. Same thing could have happened with Garth, I mean, the guy was, or, I mean, no, don't scratch that. I mean, it was a different scenario. I mean, uh, I just remember, there was a whole thing, with Seattle where, they just weren't open up to, him actually taking, full on
Hmm.
decisions and stuff like that. But still, when it comes to the coaching, I think that you have to look at a guy that has already been there
Hmm.
and, has been in challenging situations. And I think that was the biggest mistake that the front office probably made. When
Sure.
once Pineda was appointed,
We
it's like, yeah, he may have been this beloved guy, in Seattle that where he was just the biggest upcoming thing in terms of coaching with in MLS. Obviously, there was even rumors, that he was linked to DC or that he turned them down or something like that. But I think that Pineda, just coming in here as a new coach, having players like Miles Robinson, Brad Guzan, Joseph Martinez, they're players that with a big ego, basically, especially Joseph Martinez. I mean, obviously, we all know how that turned out, but
sure.
I just think that Pineda is just not in the right time, to be in charge of Atlanta United. Maybe if he was deeper into his coaching career, maybe if it was, 5 years into his coaching career and he actually had accomplished something, then maybe I would think that he's the right coach. But I
Hmm.
think they just took the wrong route when it comes to
Like
that.
at the time, back when it was Darren, I feel like this was a good idea because we were a team in the depths. But when you kind of get to the future, it looks kind of silly. And I feel like, I mean, Pineda played for the Sounders, but that's a joke. I know what you mean. I don't think he's going anywhere, Brian. But what about Caleb Porter? That's another name. That's another guy who's done it before with Columbus.
Hmm.
That's another one to throw out there. But let's not talk about managers. It's May. Well, Nancy's locked in at Columbus, but I mean, he's not a guy that's won much either. But he's a great manager. I like him. Um, they
Fuck
did
it,
they
bring
did
bring
lose
me
to
Bruce
Miami
Arena,
though.
bruh.
Bruce Arena. Oh boy. Wait, did Nancy lose to Miami? He did. He's a fraud. I don't want him. I'm kidding.
Bring,
Yeah, he's a good manager.
Greg Benny.
Just get all the like. Let's find the oldest guy possible.
Yeah, nah, but honestly,
No more
uh,
managers. No.
yeah, man, over with the manager talk, man.
Coach Bud.
Uh,
Yes.
with the story time, bruh.
All right. I'm gonna put my feet up. I'm ready.
Jesus
This is
Christ,
all
bro.
you.
So, listen, a few weeks ago, obviously, when the Gold Cup schedule came out, and they said that this was gonna be held in Charlotte. Well, the USA game against Nicaragua and the Honduras game against Haiti. I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go, obviously. And I'm thinking, I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna try to, get somebody, from the front office or whatever. I'm gonna get a hold of them, so maybe I could get a suite.
Oof.
So obviously, I sent out my email information, and everything, and they hit me back, and they're like the next day, basically. And yeah, matter of fact, this was last week. I sent out the information like last Thursday, yeah. And Friday, they hit me back, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, we got your email, like what are, we have this option, which basically is the suite that it's like right in the middle of the lower bowl and the upper bowl,
Mm.
and those start at 500." So I'm like, that's not bad.
No.
Yeah, and there were, I mean, but 500, and it starts for like 12 people. So I'm like, that's not bad, and like
No.
it comes with like four parking spots. I mean, like private entrance, private restrooms, and stuff like that. So I'm like, dude, that's not bad, honestly. So,
No.
and then the next option, they told me, they're like, well, yeah, you're basically field level, right behind one of the goals,
Oh
and
yeah.
these start at 1,000, but it's like food
Oof.
included, top liquor, beer, wine, like everything, like personal butler. I'm like, shit, starting at $1,000 for like, and they told me that started for 16 people. So I'm like, that's not bad either. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm like, you know what? Well, this is what the sales rep told me at the time, Friday, right? He's like, the actual suites themselves are not available yet, or to where I can send you a link, so you can, actually get a reserve or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But they should be available Monday. So, if, whatever
Oh
you
no.
just want to get with your people. So, and Monday we'll get it all together. So here comes Monday, and I'm like, I had already, actually, literally, I'm not even BSing you, dude. I literally got it already, probably had a good 30 to like 40 people. I was gonna get like probably like 2 or 3 suites. So I'm like, when the dude calls me, and then he starts telling me, yeah, those suites that I told you that were 500 or 400. I'm like, oh
Okay.
shit, I'm like, damn, this. So I'm like,
Buy the whole
I told,
stadium.
that's right off the bat. I told him, I'm like, all right, dude. So like, I'm gonna get probably like 2 of those, and the one that's field level.
Damn.
Then the guy tells me, all right, let me send you the link or whatever, and like, while we're right here on the phone, you can get it done or whatever. Then tell me how you get a fucking invoice for like 24,000 fucking dollars,
Whoa.
and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I'm like, wait. Did you told me this shit started off at $1,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, but $1,000 per head. I'm like, I'm just there like in silence, probably for like a good 10 seconds on the phone, like, this motherfucker did not told me this shit when like we were on the phone fucking Friday, dog. So I told him, I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, this is not what you told me, like, Friday, right?
Damn.
And listen, the dude's like, well, this is like the top, like, top service you're gonna get or whatever. I'm like, dude, man,
25
listen,
bags?
no, listen. I told him, I'm like, dude, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like, I go to Atlanta games all the time, and I've gone to like international, like, games, and seriously, like, we paid like 2,400, I think. Yeah, for like, I think it was like 20 people or whatever. Well, it turned out to
Yeah.
be like 120, like, per ticket. But same thing,
Yeah.
like parking included, food included, like everything, like. And these motherfuckers are charging $1,000 per head, right? And the ones that I was talking about that were 400,
Mm-hmm.
that was also, per head, right?
Damn.
$400 per person. that was not food included. That was not beer included. Like nothing. I'm like, bruh, Charlotte has to be the biggest fucking like crime organization. Like fuck the cartels, bro. These motherfuckers are robbing people like left and right. It's like, dude. Honestly, I was going like I even looked back at the email like a couple of times because I was like, am I even looking at the right number, honestly?
Hmm.
And I'm like, dude, that had me so upset because like I literally had to tell all these people, I'm like, dude, now these motherfuckers are telling me that now it is starting from like 400 per piece or per head or 1,000 per ad. And I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
know. You obviously saw
Hmm.
the tweet that I shared out, the three Bojangles pieces and the and the side of fries and a beer, $30, dude. I don't know what the hell is going on in Charlotte, honestly.
It's crazy. I mean, 400 per
Ye-
person for a suite. You,
Yeah,
you don't even get
dude.
food. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's that's crazy stuff.
No, but this is the thing. Like, yeah, once I did told him that was the funniest part. Once he did told me, or once I told him that, things were a little bit different in Atlanta.
Yeah,
He's like, well, I can assure you, we got like the best quality here, and I'm just thinking in my head, like,
bro.
yeah, I'm sure you
Still,
do, motherfucker. I'm sure you do. Like,
still,
that's the only thing that he could have kept on repeating. Like, yeah, we have the best quality here, and like, we'll give you the best service.
1,000, 1,000 a person quality, bro. It's got to be like 10 games you're watching. Like, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's dude, honestly, it's ridiculous. I mean,
And when I went up to Charlotte for the game, I mean, thank goodness those are free tickets because I mean they were already going for like 50 a piece, bro. And the stadium was empty. And how were they still that expensive? Like,
the
it's silly. And actually, I think we got like kind of like club tickets. It was still a section, but they were completely free from the Atlantic Night thing. And I mean, still, it's crazy. Uh,
bro, what the
yeah. Oh yeah, we got one of those bot comments. Get out of
was
here. But I mean, that
yeah,
stadium sucks too. It's just a bowl. It's just a big circle, and it's made out of like the courses. The concourses are just like you could all you can see is like concrete. You know, it's kind of dead.
yeah.
It's a dead
Literally,
stadium.
there's like, dude, no, I don't think they even have like TVs like around or anything.
A little bit, but like it's crap compared to Ben's, and it's so much more expensive for food. And people don't even. And I've seen that with Nashville too. They Everyone talks about how they don't even buy stuff in there. They all like tailgate outside. It's not even worth getting stuff. It's silly. It's so silly. And it's like it doesn't make sense, man. It's rough. I feel like Atlanta can make more money than these places because people just know not to buy stuff there. And Tepper's got enough money in Charlotte. He's got enough money with that stupid bowl.
That's the thing that bothers me, honestly, man. The fact that you have these billionaires taking over the certain teams, and dude, you have enough money, man. What's it like? You like obviously we're like the prime example. Atlanta United has like those freaking uh like good prices when it comes to
Hmm.
everything, man. I cannot complain. Like seriously, that's one of the reasons, honestly, man, why I'm able to make it to so many games, throughout the season because
Yeah.
it's affordable, man. If not, trust me, I was not taking a trip down to Atlanta if I had to pay 150 or whatever, per
Yeah.
ticket every single time I went down there. Like
Yeah.
it's
Wait, hold on.
ridiculous, man. Yeah, food prices are better in Charlotte, dude. What the? I think John's on something tonight, bruh. He was not able to be here tonight with us, John. But yeah, I think he might have went and did something honestly because I don't know what the hell's going on with John today.
Yeah,
He's
man.
talking about her James is selling his autograph
Yeah,
Cowboy jersey.
The only
Yeah,
thing,
speaking of that, that's the reason why we're a little bit late on the week.
hey, that's, I mean, it's fair.
show
You can't
show
even
show
like,
that
you
gem.
can't
Show
see
that
it.
gem off,
You can't
James.
see it, but you can see it. Like I can see it, but the camera, I got gypped. I thought he was gonna sign like the one, but he signed like the middle. You can't even. Can you even see that? Can you see it?
Yeah, with the light in
Yeah,
that certain direction, yeah, you definitely
like
can't
I
see
can
it.
I can see it really good, and I really like it. But I thought he was gonna sign the number. Whatever. I'm not mad. I'm not mad about it. It's still awesome.
You didn't take a picture or anything?
Yeah, I did. I
Uh,
said what's up. He doesn't
uh
speak English, obviously, so that
yeah,
was
I'm
kind of.
pretty sure he understands like a
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit here
yeah.
and there, but
He's cool though. We were like one of like the last kind of people. He was gassed. I didn't want to bother him. He was gassed. He probably saw like hundreds and hundreds of people. So
yeah, speaking of that, I actually did see that he was the person or like the actually like the person when it comes down to Atlanta United players that
mhm.
had the most people show out for a
Oh yeah,
meet and greet.
it's
That's
crazy.
crazy, dude. I mean, you had Joseph, you had players like Almiron, but I mean, dude, you win a World Cup and that changes the game. Like that puts you in a whole different like level.
Yeah, he's the guy, man. Too. I mean, everyone knows that he's the big baller. So yeah, people people showed out. I'm not gonna trust what John said, but Leeds first, yeah. No, he was still like after meeting all those people, he was still cool. He was still smiling. He's a great player, man. Hey, but he's smiling because he got that check from that. I'll tell you that. His nice little
Yeah.
send off, and then he gets his like 100K per week. Going in Europe, he's gonna be chilling. Um,
Yeah. Our boy gonna be playing Champions League next week, or not next week, next year, hopefully.
yeah, we'll see, man. I
Well,
think
technically
it's
later on
definitely
this week.
doable. Wait,
Listen,
Napoli?
that's one of
Napoli
the
are in the
things.
Champions League. Napoli
Yeah,
stink.
that's one of the things that I think it has to be to a Champions League caliber team, right? I mean, it can't be any lower than
I
that for
mean,
for Thiago Almada.
that's true. Unless he goes to England, which I doubt it. But even England. But who cares? Who knows? But we're all sporting Milan here, though. Those are the guys next week. They're gonna be Inter. So that's what side we're on. Um, Real Madrid versus Milan in the final. That's my prediction. Maybe Man
AC
City.
Milan against Real Madrid.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
City.
that's
That's
mine
gonna be
too.
close.
That even
And,
before this round,
yeah.
Milan, I think that they're just in a different level when it comes to Champions League.
Hmm.
Real Madrid as well. I mean, there's just something about certain teams that have that
Yeah.
certain you know story. Even teams like Liverpool, obviously they're not in this certain in this stage right now, but they may not be playing well in the league, but there's certain teams that definitely come out and just shine
Hmm.
in Champions League. So
Yeah. So if Joseph scores, I'm gonna the beginning of the thing next week. I'm ripping this off the wall. I'm not kidding. It's a little resistant. I'm gonna have to get a nice little rip. It might rip the whole jersey. Who knows?
if he scores, that's coming down then.
It's coming down unless we win by a lot of goals. But we know who the real number 7 is, all right? I'm kidding. Joseph's
Yeah.
still my goat. I love him, but still,
Well, guys, we've pretty much hit the hour mark and hit on everything that we had to hit. Uh, as we said in the beginning of the show, obviously you can follow us. Well, James, you can follow him at ATLUTD James. You
please,
can follow myself at Resurge Spike ATL and subscribe obviously on YouTube at Fila Sports Podcast. We will see you guys next week. And like I
yes,
mentioned, we will have Top Bid 90
yes,
from Charlotte. We
fun.
will we will obviously,
Maybe John. Maybe we'll see.
yeah, John hopefully should be on.
Oh
So
man,
hopefully, man. We'll give you, an exact date on that or an
we can
exact
talk
day.
about we can talk about ticket prices for the whole hour.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure he has a lot to say on that. I
yeah,
mean,
I
I
bet.
actually listened to a little bit of what they had to say Tuesday. Him and the guy from Charlotte Fan TV or whatever.
Hmm.
With the whole, allegations and, that
Oof.
they
Yeah.
have with their players and that sort of stuff. Man, it's a
Hmm.
whole mess, dude.
Yep. You see, at least we're not like Charlotte right now. I mean, we got something.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Hey, but we're gonna win this weekend. Hey, we're still in third place. We're still in third. We can be top of
Even
the
I think
table.
even if we lose, right, I think we're still gonna be in third. I think Nashville is still 3 points behind unless there's like a big goal differential or anything.
We could be top of the supporter shield at the end of the weekend, and that's what we're gonna do, right? I think we can win, right? We can win.
I mean, we could win.
We
It's
should
just a
win.
matter of like the right attitude right off the bat, not conceding early goals or late goals as usual.
Yep, man. I believe, man. We're gonna get a full 90 from everybody. I'm ready. Um,
Follow me as well
no,
if you want
no, our
24/7.
just sniper.
I was just
I need him to show up. Like, bro, just show up, please.
yeah.
It's not his fault. Make some runs. Pineda tells you not to do runs. Make runs. He's probably telling you the wrong thing. All right. All right. Let's get out of
All right,
here.
guys. Yeah, we'll
It's done.
step out. Thank you guys for being here, and we'll see you guys next week in this chat.